What's up, guys? It's Mr. Newman, and I wanted to talk to you about angles in the everyday world. So that's kind of what we're studying right now is geometry and looking at some angles and lines. Um, and today we're going to look at the angles that are all around us. So there should be a pretty cool lesson for you guys to do at the end. So there's a short video, and I'm going to do a demonstration, and then you guys can work on your project at the end. All right. So this should have a lot of fun with this. I'm hoping. All right. Okay, this is a website called Learn Zillion, and instead of having to give you guys more username and passwords to log in and watch the video, I'm just going to play it for you. This is just a short segment of this video that I liked. I love baseball, and this is picking out some angles during a baseball game. So watch this video, and we'll talk about it when it's done.
See, light switch. There we go. All right. What geometric figure is created by a baseball player hitting home runs to two different locations? Let's take a look at LZ Field. So we're going to go ahead down to the Learn Zillion baseball field so that we can figure out what's created. If two home runs are hit, so there's our first one. Looks like a nice hit to left field. And this one.
And by the way, Mr. Newman is definitely batting right now.
Nice little shot to right center field. So what does that create when we have those two different baseballs? Well, why don't we go ahead, let's take away the field so that we can see what's left behind. All right, so now let's analyze these different figures that we have here. What do we see? We see that we have a point, which we talked about. We also have a ray, again, starting at a point, continuing on forever, and we indicate that with that arrow at the end of the line. And then we have another one over here. And I'm sure based upon some math that you've done in class or at home, you've probably noticed this figure before. What we've actually created is we've created an angle. So an angle is two rays meeting at a common point to form an angle. We can often take that common center point that the rays meet at and put it at the center of a circle. And that's important when we're measuring angles because we can actually use that to figure out the measurements of it. So a lot of times we'll think about two rays meeting at a common point at the center of a circle, forming an angle. And as I mentioned, that's going to be important as you're trying to determine the measure of an angle.
Okay, that's really all I wanted to show you is the baseball field and hitting two home runs. I'm going to back up just a little bit. Hitting two home runs from home plate made an angle. And you can tell and you probably realize that this is an acute angle. It's an angle that's less than 90 degrees. So, seeing this picture right here, this is what your assignment is going to be. What you are going to do is you are going to draw a picture for me. And it can really be anything you want, except you cannot draw a house. So the first rule is no house, because I am going to draw a house, and you cannot copy Mr. Newman. So no house. Here's the rules. It has to have, the first rule has to be, it has to have two right angles, two right angles. Second rule, it has to have two acute angles. And then the third rule is two, you guessed it, obtuse angles. Oh, that says angels. Yikes. Not angels. Sorry. Not two obtuse angels. Angles. Sorry. Angles. All right. So I'm going to give you just a little demonstration down at the bottom, and I am going to draw a house. So I'm just using Notability to do this. I'm going to draw a house. So see here. And I didn't say it's going to be a good house, but it's a house indeed. It's the roof. Okay. I'm going to give it a door. There's a door. Some windows. Some windows. Okay. And now I'm going to draw a chimney. And let's do a driveway. There's the driveway. All right, what does it mean? It sounds like missing something here. I don't know. It looks maybe some landscaping. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But let's go back to our three main rules. Well, the first rule is you can't draw a house, and then the directions are to draw two right angles, two acute angles, two obtuse angles. So I'm just basically going to pick those out because I'm pretty sure everything's probably already represented in my house. So this right here, that angle right there, you can see that angle right here, that's an obtuse angle. That's definitely larger than 90 degrees. This right here, that angle right there, if I drew, that's a line, and then if we had, this would be the other line here. You can kind of, I'll highlight it for you. Oops. It's not that great. Let's see if I can straighten this line up for you. There you go. See that angle right there? That is also obtuse. So there's your two obtuse angles. So that's done. Now the right angles are probably going to be the easiest angles to do because any corner that you draw is going to be a right angle. So right here, that's a right angle, that's a right angle. There's a ton of right angles here, a ton of them. Any corner, that's a right angle. So just make sure you label your right angles. Right angle, right angle. Okay, so there's two, and there's a lot more here. There's a ton more right angles. Here's one right here, right angle. There's a ton of right angles. Just make sure you label them. And then lastly, do the two acute angles. So I see an acute angle. You guys probably can already pick them out. There's an acute angle right there. I'm going to highlight that just so you can see it. There and there. So there's that. That's an acute angle. So I'm just going to draw an arrow down to it and say acute. And then I have another one right here. So here's another acute angle, which I will highlight here. There, right there, and there is my other acute angle. Okay? And it took me 5 minutes to draw that. You don't have to be super fancy, but you have to come up with some sort of drawing, and you cannot do a house. No house. Why? Because I already did a house, and I don't want you to copy me, so be creative. Like think of something like a baseball field. You can do a basketball court, a soccer field. All you have to do is these three things. Okay, two right angles, two acute angles, two obtuse angles inside your picture. So there's angles everywhere. You just have to be able to pick them out of your drawing. Okay, so have fun with it, and maybe I'll pick some of my favorites and do a video about those so everybody can see them. All right, so I want you to, you can do this on notebook paper, white paper, Notability, doesn't really matter. Just take a picture of it and try to send it to me as an attachment in the assignment on Google Classroom. Okay, try that out. And I might make a video on how to do that for those of you that can't figure it out. Okay. All right, good luck. Have fun with this, and I look forward to seeing your drawings. All right.